And let's bring in the voice of these games on Peacock, my old friend. The ESPN reunion continues with Jason Benetti. JB, congratulations, dude. It's great to see you again. Haven't seen you since you, me, and Rick Sutcliffe eating some asparagus and steak. Those stories another time. But congrats on adding another gig to your burgeoning profile. Congrats on the Peacock stuff.
Why don't we do those stories right now? I mean, they're so fit for television. No, thank you, Adnan. I'm really happy for you too. It's fun to be in a double box with you.
Yeah, this is the thing. We are going to get to, sometimes when you're doing these interviews, I always worry that things are going to go awry. And that's with you and me. I feel like they're going to go sideways quickly. So let's actually do the baseball content, and then we're going to get silly. So the baseball content is this. You obviously do a phenomenal job as the voice of the White Sox with Steve Stone. The White Sox, Steven Nelson's pride and joy, one of our great anchors at MLB Network, off to a sluggish start. However, pitching has been a little bit better the last few games. What have you seen?
What I've seen is I feel like this team's going to start getting healthy. And the offense, by the way, about a week ago, they had an expected slugging percentage that was 161 points better than what their actual slugging percentage was. Those numbers have come a little bit closer right now. But Dylan Cease, who you just saw, has been amazing, like pitching like an ace, amazing. Lucas Giolito, and his couple starts back from injury, has been very good. Michael Kopeck went 4 scoreless the other night. Joe Kelly's going to come back next week. It seems like Yoan Moncada is still working on that oblique, but he'll offer some things against right-handed pitching. So I feel like this team's getting healthy, and it certainly is a much better team than we saw during that week in Cleveland and Minnesota.
You know, I have a huge soft spot for Giolito because of the acting background, of course, in his family. But how about Michael Kopeck? I mean, his numbers so far, JB, a 1.17 ERA in 5 starts, 23 strikeouts, 23 innings. There's been a lot expected of this young man, and now he's delivering.
You know, it's amazing. We showed his first career start from 2018 on one of our local telecasts, and he looked like he was 20 years younger. And so I went up to him. I was like, man, did you see that picture? He said, yeah, a couple of my teammates sent me the picture from the telecast. He's this baby-faced, 100-mile-an-hour throwing assassin. And now, I mean, you can see it on the mound. He's matured as well, not only the beard, but like his secondary stuff is much better. He's more willing to use it, but he's still pitching off that good fastball. He's an impressive guy who has a very high ceiling for me.
An impressive guy for me is Liam Hendricks, and I'm glad he's bouncing back because at the start I was a little concerned. A 6.14 ERA, I believe his first 7 appearances, but now the last few appearances he's been better. Great guy, Aussie, fun-loving, wife's Canadian. Let's talk Liam Hendricks.
Yeah, you know him. And so, I'd go up to him in the clubhouse and he would say like, yeah, I don't know why I'm throwing 30 pitches every inning sort of thing. But finally, he had a 10-pitch inning. He had a 12-pitch inning. He's looking more like Liam. I said it on the telecast the other night on Wednesday about his game Tuesday. He said, yeah, I threw a slider for a strike, so that's new. He's very self-deprecating about it. He knows that he's going to be where he needs to be. He just hadn't been to that point. But those last couple outings, 3 days in a row, he looked like the nails Liam Hendricks that we're used to.
Definitely fantastic. Let's hope that continues there for the Chicago White Sox on the South Side. This Peacock schedule, this is amazing. I mean, you already do a fantastic job at my former employer, ESPN. Of course, you're the voice of the White Sox, and now calling Peacock games 11:30 a.m., though. Are you a little concerned? I mean, that great base of yours is not going to be rolling at 11:30 a.m. Eastern?
You said great face? I couldn't hear that because it sounded like an untruth. Look, the world's greatest peripheral vision works at any time of the morning. Here's the deal about this. I've watched Breakfast at Wimbledon. The Premier League time slot is very cool. And to me, the best part of this that we're doing, number one, you get to set the day for baseball and there's a new time slot. But number two, I've been thinking about it as that Curb episode where they talk about who the best middle is at the dinner party, because I have a new booth every week, and that's sort of my job. But as I thought about it more and more, it's kind of a little bit like SNL as well, where like every week you have an ensemble cast and then a host comes in and who knows what the host is going to do compared to the rest of the cast, who's going to gel, but it always works. And we have a production crew that's going to be fantastic. And it's my job every week to make sure that the two people flanking me either don't fight or fight in a great way for television.
Listen, as long as it's not contrived, that's all I care about, okay? Good TV is good TV, especially when people are getting acrimonious. By the way, 8:30 a.m. for those Padres fans for Game 2. So that's definitely going to be a different wrinkle, different feel there watching the West Coast baseball. But I'm with you. I love the idea of rotating analysts. Dallas Braden, for example, calling the A's game. It's going to be a lot of fun. Speaking of a lot of fun, one of Jason Benetti's many great qualities, and perhaps his best quality, one might say, is his impression of Sean McDonough. Jason and I both huge fans of Sean. Of course, he was a great mentor to us at ESPN. Phenomenal job right now calling the NHL playoffs. Syracuse guy. Of course, the voice of the Blue Jays when they won the World Series, 92-93 for CBS. And one of the greatest calls ever, NLCS Game 7. Of course, the Sid Bream slide. Let's play it for him before Benetti's going to give us his McDonough impression.
He hacked at the 2-0, now the 2-1. Line drive and a base hit! Just as the score of the tying run. Bream to the plate. And he is safe! Safe at the plate! The Braves go to the World Series! And Atlanta pulls out Game 7 with 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th inning.
You know, when the pandemic first began, I actually rewatched that entire game, JB. Phenomenal game, by the way, start to finish, enhanced by Sean's call throughout it. I mean, 2-hour and 30-minute game and such drama. Stan Belinda, Randy Marsh behind the plate. I mean, there's so much drama to that. But more importantly, you do a phenomenal Sean McDonough impression. Just go ahead and run wild.
Let me just say first, I love Sean. He's one of the greatest people of all time, and he's a tremendous play-by-play announcer. I don't want anyone to ever think I did the impression on EEI during a Red Sox game, and a couple people texted him like, "I think this guy's making fun of you," and I that's not at all what it is. Like, I love the guy. He's been awesome to me. So I will say I'm delighted to be here with you, Adnan. It's my sincere pleasure to be a part of this show, which is called what's that? High Heat. I don't know what you do before the show. So funny enough, I go up to Sean at an event a couple years ago, and Sean says, "Hey, I hear you do an impression of me. Why don't you do it?" So I do the impression. I say, like, "With the 2 XL egos, Jay Billis, Bill Raftery here at the XL Center." And Sean looks at me and he goes, "Great. When does the impersonation start?"
By the way, Sean is great because he gets the joke and he loves it. But you are fearless for doing that. I would have just denied it. I would have just been a chicken. Like, an impression of you? I've never heard of that. No, I've heard that verified by Lee Fitting. Sean, I've never done an impression of you. Whoever said that's a bold-faced liar. The fact you did it to his face, props to you.
Yeah, you know, I pretty much had nowhere to hide at that point. Like, I had done it, so I might as well do it, right? But it's all out of love. He really is one of the best, if not the best, play-by-play announcer in this country. I mean, he is truly marvelous.
The thing is, I do an impression of Sean, and it's basically your impression. Everyone's like, "Man, your McDonough's pretty good." I'm like, "No, it's just Benetti doing McDonough." I'm like, "Adnan, like your work, even though you're kind of a clown. Not much of a balls and strikes kind of guy, much like Tim Cheetah behind the plate." Like, it's just basically sentence fragments of yours, but it's the best. Jason Benetti, the voice of the Chicago White Sox, and of course you'll hear him on Peacock. JB, great to see you again, man. Continued success.
Thank you.